Hey guys, MCU Collector here with a new video, and here we have the Marvel Select Iron Spider Spider-Man figure from Avengers Infinity War. Now this has now started to show up at your local comic shops or whoever sells Diamond Select toys, not Disney Store as far as I know. I think they only carry the Disney exclusive ones now. Not sure about that though. Kokomo Toys has received them as well. I did put in an order, not knowing that, you know, a local comic shop just, a mile or two away would actually have it. So I picked it up so I could have it right away and review it, because I was getting very excited knowing that they were going to be out there. Online retailers haven't quite gotten them yet. Who knows when they will, but hopefully soon. But here we have it, and it is an awesome looking figure and a very nice upgrade from the Homecoming Marvel Select figures that we got. So I can't wait to get this thing open. Here we're checking it out and see Avengers Infinity War. It says Spider-Man there on the side. On the side of the package you get some artwork of Iron Spider, no big deal. There on the back of the package you could see that Captain America figure is also going to be coming out, and then a 2-pack with Thor and Groot. And as far as I know, they haven't come out yet, but again, I'm not the biggest Marvel Select collector. I only collect them for the MCU Spider-Man figures. There's also a bio right there. Let's take a look at it. Okay, and the bio reads, as the Avengers and their allies have continued to protect the world from threats too large for any one hero to handle, a new danger has emerged from the cosmic shadows. Thanos, a despot of intergalactic infamy. His goal is to collect all 6 Infinity Stones, artifacts of unimaginable power, and use them to inflict his twisted will on all of reality. Everything the Avengers have fought for has led up to this moment. The fate of Earth and existence itself has never been more uncertain. This fully articulated 7-inch scale action figure of Spider-Man is based on his appearance in Avengers Infinity War and features 16 points of articulation, sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios. Interesting. So, there is the figure, looking great. Let's open it up. Okay, and here is the Marvel Select Iron Spider out of the package, and this is a really good figure. A couple of things I have issues with, but I am overall very, very happy with this figure. This thing looks awesome. The articulation is great. We're talking Legend-style articulation plus some. Definitely an improvement over the previous Marvel Select Spider-Man figures, like I already said. So before we take a close look at the figure and the articulation and everything, let's take a look at the accessories that he comes with. Okay, so the figure comes with a total of 4 pairs of interchangeable hands. So out of the package, you get these wall-crawling hands or open hands. I'd say they're the wall-crawling because the fingers are really spread out as if, he's like crawling on a wall kind of thing. Then you also get these ones here that are just a regular fist, closed fist, nothing special to them. Then you have these open holding hands as if he's going to hold some kind of webbing. Now, he doesn't come with any webbing, but I'm sure you'll be able to kind of switch up accessories from another figure like, Figure Arts or Mezco figures or something. But it looks like he can hold webs. And then he also has the whipping hands included also. They're all just done in a nice metallic red paint. And then there is the web lines sculpted on them, so they all look very good. Now let's look at the figure. Okay, so first let's go over the articulation of the figure. Now the articulation of this is fantastic. So it's about what you'll see in the Legends, but there's some differences to it. So looking at the head, you can get the head hinged to look down. You can get him to look up, so great motion there. Obviously you get the full side-to-side motion and not really any pivot there. The shoulders you can get to go all the way up like so. Actually not quite all the way up, but you can get a full rotation in there. There is an upper bicep swivel. You get a double jointed elbow, which almost looks like it bends a little too much, and then it's kind of a little flat there, but solid bend there at the elbow. The wrists all swivel, and each hand has a hinge. As far as the ab, there's no ab crunch, but you get the diaphragm joint, which bends down that much, and you can get him to go back that much, so good motion there, and you do get side-to-side pivot on that diaphragm joint, so that is really good. Now there's no waist swivel in here, but instead what you get is you get this other portion underneath the top of the upper torso, and then above the bottom torso, the hip So you get some extended motion in there, so you get another ab crunch forward. So if you have the figure stay like that without crunching that diaphragm joint, you can bend him down that much, and then you add in the other upper torso diaphragm joint, you get a lot of good bend motion that way, and then you also get some side to side, and there's also a little bit more pivot in there, so you could really get this figure pivoting to the side quite a bit. So then if you wanted to turn him, you're not really going to get a whole lot on that bottom piece. There is a little bit, but again, the hard plastic of the waist is really going to get in the way. So the turning motion is going to come from that upper torso joint. The legs go all the way wide, so it's almost like those old T-joints that they use, and you'll see a comparison with the Homecoming figure, but these ones just look better, but you still get, you know, the full split, so that is awesome. You can get kick forward that much, so pretty good. Not going to get anything going back. There is an upper thigh cut there. You get a double jointed knee, which works out great. There's no boot swivel or anything, but you get a foot that hinges up like so, hinges down all the way, and you do get nice ankle pivot in there as well. So really good articulation on this figure. Now the spider legs are also articulated. So there's a ball joint here, 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 and here. So it's four different ball joints. So you're going to be able to bend it around. It's not a whole lot of ratcheting in there, so they could get loose over time. Each one can swivel a little bit. You want to be very, very careful, because the yellow plastic that they use looks like it's pretty fragile. So you can turn them a little bit, but you want to hold on to both ends and work that ball joint there. So be very careful with those. But they do all turn, but again, be very, very careful, and then they articulate. So you can get them, you know, all the way out, or you can bend them all the way in, and then each one is the same. And you can't actually remove them. Yeah, those are not removable, so don't do that. So there's the articulation. Now let's take a closer look at them and compare them to some of the other Iron Spider figures we already have. Now, one thing that Diamond Select Toys does really well on the Marvel Select figures is the metallic paint. So like the Iron Man Mark 50 is an awesome looking figure because the bright red and the bright gold that's in it. So here on this Iron Spider figure, we kind of see that same thing. So awesome red metallic paint throughout. The blue isn't as shiny. It's almost like a little bit of a matte, but it's got a little shine to it. So it gives it a little bit of a metallic look without being too shiny, which I really like because it makes it look very realistic to how it was in the movie. That looks very good. So the sculpt of it is awesome. You got the web lines throughout the head, throughout the body. Looks great. The gold paint is done pretty nicely. There's a little bit of a spot there on the torso. You can't really see it in the logo, but it's nothing too bad. It all comes out looking really good along the shoulders as well. Even on the back of the figure, through the arms. Looks very good. Looks like I got a little smudge there on that left shoulder, but not so bad. You can see where they painted the red metallic like over the blue. It's not quite as shiny as like with a forearm piece here. That's, you know, very bright red. As you can see here, it's a little dulled down because it's on top of the blue paint. But it still looks very good. Now these web shooter pieces here, these are floating pieces, so if you pop the hands off, those will actually come off. They just slide right onto the wrist. There's a little bit of white paint on there, which I think is kind of odd. I don't know if it's supposed to represent kind of a light effect from the suit, which now that I'm looking at it, this figure does not have at all. So the little light up arc reactors or whatever it is throughout the suit that, you know, he had in the movie, they do not have that represented here on the figure. Interesting. And you can see the line work sculpted throughout the legs and then onto the boots, and they look very good. Again, I really like the way they came out. And then the spider legs are all red, blue, and then there's some gold throughout. Now, I believe so. I believe that in the movie, the spider legs actually only were blue and gold, Maybe I'm wrong on that, but even like the Marvel Mini Mates, Diamond Select painted red and blue on the spider legs. I'd have to go back, but like the Hot Toys one is all blue and gold. And then the other figures are all done gold and stuff. But even like Beast Kingdom's coming out with a deluxe Egg Attack. And that one's going to have blue on the spider leg. So this Diamond Select's the only one that's putting red in there, and I don't think that's actually film accurate, but I could be wrong. This spider leg's a little warped too, so you want to be careful with that out of the package too. But overall, very good looking. Now let's compare them to some other figures. Okay, here is the Iron Spider next to the Marvel Select Spider-Man Homecoming, both the Disney Store exclusive and the regular release. And you can see they are the same size, but the articulation is different, whereas there was nothing in the lower portion of the torso on the Homecoming figures, and then the hip joints use those T-joints, which I always hated and I thought looked very ugly for an action figure. So that was updated, and this one also has the exposed shoulder hinge on the older ones. So it's nice to see a lot of articulation updates to the new figure compared to the old figure. So I am very impressed with this Marvel Select Iron Spider. Let's compare him to some other Iron Spider figures now. Thought I would try putting the Tom Holland Peter Parker head from the Disney Store exclusive onto this Iron Spider. It's a little bit tricky. You want to be careful getting the head off, but it does not fit on there, so that is unfortunate. And anyway, not a big deal because I never actually liked this Tom Holland head to begin with, so that's unfortunate. It would have been pretty cool if it would have worked out, but unfortunately it does not. Okay, and here is the Iron Spider compared to both the Marvel Legends and the SH Figuarts. So both of his baby cousins, because they are tiny compared to this. So of course, Marvel Select is a 7-inch figure scale, whereas Marvel Legends is 6 inches. SH Figuarts is supposedly 6-inch. But you could know that those are always smaller than all the other figures. And you can see that the SH Figuarts just has all gold spider legs. The articulation on them is pretty good, just not a whole lot to them. The red is very dull. I like the blue on it, but again, there's nothing metallic except for the gold on this one. The Marvel Legends, the red is a little shiny, but I would no longer call it metallic. The gold looks pretty good, but I like the dark blue. And I think the dark blue is probably the most accurate because I did watch the movie last night. If I remember correctly, the blue was always pretty dark in the movie. So if this Marvel Select figure had dark blue, it would probably be the most accurate. So far it is the most accurate because of the spider legs having some color into it, but you know, just how it goes. The Beast Kingdom one will probably be the most accurate at the time. Well, actually the Hot Toys one is the most accurate because it has the blue and gold on the spider legs. Now one more comparison for you, and it's going to be the Chinese KO. Here we go. Okay, and here it is next to the KO Chinese version, whatever this figure is. They're both a 7-inch scale figure. Now, this one I always thought looked great. A $20 figure knockoff that we don't know anything about came out looking really good. Seriously lacked in articulation, of course. The golden spider legs were just okay, but it was nice that we actually had some at the time. The blue, I do like the shade of blue on this thing. The red metallic and everything does look very good. The head is kind of funky, but the Marvel Select is definitely better, but you can see they are about the same height, but this guy's a little bit bulkier. But the Marvel Select definitely wins because we get, you know, more accurate spider legs, the more articulation, and it just kind of looks better overall aesthetic. Although I do like the coloring of this guy. Marvel Select wins, so he goes away. And here is the Marvel Select Iron Spider figure, and it is an absolute fantastic figure for $25. Check out your local comic shops. Online, it'll be available soon, I'm sure. I think places like Entertainment Earth are sold out. I'll put a link down in the description below for Entertainment Earth, just in case. I'm sure they'll be getting it in soon. But there it is. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up if you guys liked the video, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. I am at 5,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate all the support. Giveaway will, again, be coming soon. Thank you, everyone.